start. So it's a pleasure for me to welcome all of you in this 45-minute session, and it will not be started without saying a thanks to OGTC, who is doing a phenomenal work, and they have given us this opportunity to interact with you. I think one of the most important thing in our corporate world is to meet the like-minded people who understands, who discuss, who are collaborating. That's the only way our knowledge can be enhanced. So thank you so much, OGTC team, the membership, the board, for providing us this opportunity. And I would also like to extend my thanks to Genus. They have provided us this opportunity based on our though we are calling it as a training program, but let me put it across to you. We are a management consulting firm. We are being a management consultant. We are actually driving this entire session not as a training program. So please feel free. We'll discuss. I'm not going to talk about what is business process management. I'm going to talk about why this business process management is important for the organization, and as a case study. And all of you, I would like to invite all of you to take a seat, the driving seat as a management consultant, and evaluate the case study that I am sharing with you. And basis on this, you can evaluate yourself how much it will make sense to the organization to adopt a concept like business process management. To start with, I would like to introduce my organization first, Q3 Edge, which is there in the industry for past 12 years and having 22 plus management and technology consultant. Our core area, being a management consulting firm, is business process management. And now we have our own platforms, some products that we have built on artificial intelligence and machine learning for chatbot, or a CRM or a digital marketing. The reason we have introduced CRM digital marketing, because we as an organization are not focusing only on the bottom line, but our major focus for any organization is to improve their top line. And sales plays an important role. The moment an inquiry comes in, we are not only talking about how that inquiry can be converted into a finished good, but what we can do with our process system so that the inquiries can be increased. So we are working in an end-to-end as a partner with an organization, where we can help organization to grow, to have more sales, and how they can execute the sales as per the customer expectation. I'm pleased to share with you, we are the founder member of BPM Asia Conference, which is partnered with CII. And CII worldwide, we are the representative for CII for business process management. So anywhere across the globe, any training program, any consulting services related to business process management, we are the knowledge partner. We are the one who are executing it. We do have the global partnership. We have the partner as a KPMG. Specifically in the area of innovation, process innovation is where KPMG and Q3 are playing a very important role. And global partnership, these companies, Software AG, Signavio, if you look at it, they have been awarded from past 10 years or even more by Gartner as a leader in business process management. So that is the kind of the knowledge base and the strength of Q3 Edge is having. We have the world topmost knowledge intensive institutes as a partner. We are also using the products and platform which are awarded as the world topmost platforms. So that's the strength of Q3 Edge. And to take a step forward, and would like to be take this opportunity to introduce myself. I'm having around 22 years of experience, and I'm actually a master black belt and black belt from Lean Six Sigma from Motorola USA. I have done my business process management certification from USA. I have an experience in the certification in lead auditor, lead assessors of EFQM, Malcolm Baldrige, worked with many companies. And before founding Q3 Edge in 2008, I was working with Siemens, and I was based in Germany, and I was implementing all 24 location worldwide business process management for Siemens. That's a background that I have. So when I'm working in a BPM, I'm pretty much knowledgeable and experienced about what is an expectation of an EFQM or a Malcolm or a Lean Six Sigma or ISO standards and so on. And in my 22 years of experience, I have seen all these things matter a lot to the organization. But what matters at the end is the profitability, is the revenue. So if any one of these are not translating an organization to converting into this, will be a challenge. So a brief background about myself. I have been invited to the various conferences. I have been the speaker to the BBC conferences. I have been the speaker to various CII National Quality Conclaves. So I have been invited in Australia for speaking about the BPM. So I have been engaged on the various platforms to share this knowledge. Please feel free, let me know if there is anything that I would like to discuss more that can help you to understand more about the concept about myself. First time we are interacting, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank you once again. So this program we have launched about business process management. Actually, so far we never conducted a program on a BPM like this, but in our past 22 years of experience, and then due to the COVID also, we have realized the way of working is changing in the organization. So we thought about, let's put across all our management consulting experience into a program and let the organization run by themselves and learn and do it by themselves, and we will facilitate wherever it will add value to them. So and we know that one program does not fit for all. What is expected by the senior management is completely different than what you expect from your SMEs or the function heads. At the same time, what you can expect from the people who are executing it. So every individual in organization is having a different expectations, is responsible for or accountable for something else. So you cannot have the same set of knowledge for everyone. It is not a vanilla ice cream that we are going to hand over. So all this knowledge has been grouped into these three areas. These are the three programs: BPM for leaders, which is 101, 102 is for SMEs, and 103 for executors. I'm pleased to share that with you. CII, today morning we finalized our discussion, and now they are taking these three programs as on their official board as well. So sooner these programs will also be offered by CII, and we will jointly work onto this. Okay, so I thought a lot about, this is the first session that we are doing on an introduction about the BPM. So we thought a lot, what will be useful for our participants to know about BPM. They are going to in any case attend the BPM program, they will learn about BPM. But the question that they would definitely have when they are coming to this session is, why this BPM is important, or what is the need of this BPM? So we thought, let's look at from the perspective of a case study. All of you are experienced, all of you are engaged in the business, handling complex business scenarios, situations on a daily basis. So how about in this 30 minutes time, we give you a seat, a driving seat, where rather than you struggle with your own or you look at your own current challenges, let's look at another organization, evaluate them, how they are doing it, and then see when this organization is planned to adopt BPM, did it make any sense to them or not? So it's like a movie that I'm going to play it for you, which is divided into three parts. First and foremost, I'm going to introduce you about this company. I would request you, after going to present the data of this company, how are you going to assess it? And then we can discuss about what is the need of business process management for this organization. I hope this is in line to all your expectations. Is this fine? Would any one of you would like to discuss, would like to add anything?
So far, so good. We can go on.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. So to start with, about this company, but before this, let me put it across to you a disclaimer. Every information that I'm presenting in this are a real information. There is no fictitious information. There is no hypothetical scenarios. These are all real cases. The reason I'm calling it as an restricted for adults, not because of the content, but it is mainly because it requires an adult thinking, a mindset that we require to evaluate this organization with the right intent, with the right data which are coming up. So with this disclaimer, let me introduce this company to you. So this organization is a toy manufacturing organization. I purposely did not take any example from your industry because that's what you are doing day in, day out. So I thought, why not give it a little different flavor, but not completely different from service. But how about taking something from the manufacturing? So this is a client of ours. This is one of the top Indian toy manufacturing company. They do have an association with US based company. And if you look at the toy manufacturing company, it is really pretty big. Market wise, it is US dollar 91 billion. The US market in itself is a 27 billion market, and Indian market, oops, and the Indian market is 1.3 billion Indian market. So if you look at the opportunity of the growth, it is a huge opportunity there in the international market, specifically in the US market and the Indian market in itself. With more than a billion population in India, US organization, this company signed up, made an engagement with Indian toy manufacturing company with two main purposes. A, to capture or to grow the market in India, but at the same time to export this high quality toy products in US to increase their market share. And if you look at the growth rate of the industry, internationally it is globally it is 4%, but in the US it is 2.4. But interestingly, in India, it is almost like 14% growth that is happening in toy manufacturing. And toy manufacturing is a very interesting industry. They are different type of toys now. Not only you can group them based on the figures, based on type of any or the technology product. Like you may find it interesting, a toy like this is one of the most growing market in US. Animated in a toy picture. So that is what the objective of this organization to TIDA, and started working on this. So 10, 12 years back when this company was signed up, they built their association. So very first they did, they set up their vision very clear that we are going to become the top two most admired and trusted toy manufacturing company in India, as well as export company from India. So they made their objective very clear. They are still working onto the same. They just did not start working on certain products, started piloting and something. They actually started in a very matured way, set up their vision statement. And then over a period of time, they set up the mission of this organization. The goals, they decided the goals and the matrices, how they are going to measure the performance of the organization, the overall yearly performance, the growth in the organization. They did not limit themselves. The screen that you are seeing, you can find out it is actually procurement related function. So you can see the kind of the detailing and the maturity in the organization, that they have set the vision for the organization, but at the same time, they have set the goals for the different functions. They understood the importance of each and every function. Unless until they work together, it is not going to work to meet the vision. So the vision and mission and the goal has been done at the function level. The organization defined their 10-year strategy plan. And for each strategy, they very clearly defined what is the policy, what is the process that we may require, when we are going to acquire something, when we are going to transform ourselves, what is the digital journey that will be required, when we are going to have SAP in our place for material management, when we are going to replace our SAP for procurement with Ariba. A very well defined 10-year plan they built. And when they had the vision, the mission, the strategy plan, the management also identified the scorecard. Balanced scorecard. They adopted the balanced scorecard. I'm sure all of you must have been aware about it. So one of the best practice in the industry about how to measure your organization performance on the 4 parameters. So they defined these 4 parameters as a customer, financials, operations, and resources. The management dashboards, the management goals were completely aligned with the vision. And then over a period of time, these goals are defined, the processes are defined, systems are defined. They cannot work by themselves. You need people, you need systems in place. So over a period of time, center of excellence were also established. There is a center of excellence for human department, people who are responsible for taking various initiatives for culture building, for transformation. They build a process excellence culture in the organization and the technology excellence. To give you an idea about what they are doing, the company has almost every single audit certificate with them. They have ISO 9001 certificate, 14,000, 18,000. They implemented Lean Six Sigma at the various part in the organization in the different departments. Now organization adopted Malcolm, which is a US-based process framework. So the process wise, the organization is very, very committed, and they are adopting all the best practices available in the industry. Technology wise, they took ERP automation system in place. They automated their financials in place. So they selected the technology that they believe would be useful for them, where they can have more optimization required. So they have done technology excellence. And HR side, indeed, all the compliances, everything are kept in place. Now, if you look at it, all the building blocks are established by this organization, starting from vision, mission, to process systems, to business excellence, defined even the management scorecard on what basis they are going to review it. And that's what they are doing. This is what their current status is. There are 49 matrices which are reviewed every month. And the board reviews on 15th of every month the monthly status. So what do? The MIS team start collecting all the data on the 1st of every month, and then by 7th they prepare all the reports, submit it all the department heads for their review and approval. If there is any changes, these changes are to be made. By 13th, it has to be submitted to the management. 13th, 14th, management, they do the offline reviews, and 15th, then they call it the monthly board review meeting, where all the department heads comes, they present their data, they present their status, and they review the performance. Wherever the action items are required to be taken, management involvement is taken, they take the action, and that's how the organization is working. So this is the background about this organization. In their industry, what best practices they have adopted, what are they doing. My question to you is, let's do a current assessment. Anything that you would like to know about this organization, please feel free. I would like to understand from you, an organization, when you are evaluating, when you are looking at their journey, what do you rate to them? How do you rate them? Do you think they are level 1 company, or level 2 company, or level 3 company? Hello?
Well, if you really want to see that the companies, has really, bottom line is, what is the data in the end? They may have all these processes. How do the processes work? With what efficiency is the company working on? What are there are many parameters of any manufacturing to where to measure the company. Company may be a great company, could be a profitable company, depending how the competition is and how they are relating themselves to a competition. So obviously, when you look at all the parameters that you're saying, they are ISO, they've done Six Sigma, one can say, okay, I'll put them between 1 and 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So all these systems, the systems, processes, measurements, that represents the maturity of an organization. It requires a lot of investment, not only in terms of the financial side, but in terms of the time, the effort, the commitment of the resources. It requires a lot of commitment from the organization. So if an organization is having a system and they are representing through this information, this shows to some extent a level of seriousness of the organization, a focus of the organization. Are you agree with me, all the participants? as I said, this is not a training program. I would like to have this as a discussion so that, because this is the same situation with almost every organization. You do a lot of things, right? So how do you evaluate an organization like this who are doing all the best practices?
Yeah, certainly. You need to, if you really want to grow, you want to remain in the market, you want to face competition, you need to satisfy the customer, you want to measure a certain efficiency that your organization is working on, the financials, then all these are very important. And I think without all this, today, for an organization to run is basically walking in a dark room, not knowing where you're going.
Absolutely. Vivek ji, yes, the organization is a profitable organization. They are growing. But profitability is one aspect of any organization. Every organization, to some extent, you can make certain profit if they are not having a very serious challenges. The profitability may not be very high, but at least the score, the percentage can increase. But the important aspect is how you are actually growing, how much you are sustainable enough. Look at the COVID. In past 7 months, we have seen many organizations struggling a lot, not because of their process system, but because of the systems which were not planned in that way. I know few companies who have spent almost like 4 or 5 months in establishing their business continuity management. Whereas these were the companies who have been awarded on the international platform for their business continuity management, ISO 9001, BCP plan, and so on. But when the situation happened, these companies were running from pillar to post. And you know who's the person whose life got impacted a lot during this time? It's not the employees, it is mainly the leadership team, the board team, the management team, providing resources to their employees, ensuring that the customer orders are meeting to some extent, they are meeting on time. The people who are not able to come to office, let them provide the right resources so that they can deliver. It becomes a mammoth task which they have never even thought about it. The people who are always engaged in thinking about how the market can grow are the people who have taken a step back and now getting into the operations. So I am seeing even at this time, organizations after 4 or 5 months, they were struggling to bring back their businesses. Manufacturing to some extent were in a good shape. Some of the companies in manufacturing I've seen, they have even started on the second day itself. That was pretty good. So I know that the other organizations in the two different phases. Organization who took struggle for 4 months, organization started in 2 months. So somehow it is achieved. But is this what is expected from an organization always? And when I talk to the CEOs, their major concern, whether it is a small organization or a very large organization, they always feel a kind of a stress that everything is their own accountability, everything comes as their responsibility. If something goes wrong in compliances, it is the CEO who has to answer. If the financials are not meeting, it is the CEO who has to answer. If the customer products are getting returned, it is the CEO who's the answer. So how this entire system, and they are always talking about, when we have so many systems in place, why the entire things are not getting simplified? And that's where we see the challenge. So indeed, this organization is making a profit. But overall, if you look at it compared to their targets, um, they are growing, but they are not growing the way they would like to grow. So this trend is actually a trend compared to their expected outcome. So an organization who's doing so many things, having all the best practices, are still struggling to meet their expectations, growing but not growing at the same pace, is a challenge. What is happening? So what is wrong? We have adopted all the best practices. We call it Lean Six Sigma. People swear about Lean Six Sigma. People swear about Malcolm Baldrige, ISO. Even after doing all these things, why we are still struggling to meet our daily operations? Why do we need to have the firefight every day? If I may ask, are you any one of you would like to share? Do you agree with me, or you have some other thought on this? Do you think after doing all these things, you are still struggling every day to get a single piece of information about the order, to know what is happening, to have a dependency on the people?
Well, if you have everything, any order, what you talk about that to be struggling or not struggling, it really depends how you plan the process, how the information flow is the whole process moving as per plan. I think these are simple things which most of us, at least in OGTC, would probably have in place. Challenges may differ from company to company that people face, but planning is important. Your software information flow is important, and the information that is coming, which is being reviewed on daily, who reviews it daily, who reviews it weekly, who reviews it every 15 days, you probably would know. Supply chain is a big factor. What sort of partnerships you are working on supply chain to ensure stability there. So there are many factors. And if a company is profitable, does not mean it's efficient.
Absolutely.
So there you draw a line between profitability can be today, and that could be a big risk that you have profitability and you may feel you're very efficient in every process. That could let you down very badly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. That's what I feel the difference.
I may add, Mr. Amit,
Yes, sir.
that in OGTC, almost all companies have gone through various stages of lean management programs over a period. So no company is unfamiliar with all these processes and things. So we are the starting point is that with that assumption, A. B, they had the formalized programs on quality, on process management, etc. So they are not novices in that particular area. This is for your information.
Absolutely.
Amit, I would still say that process is one part. Most important part is the people. And I think this is when we really talk about business process. The people at different level, how do they take ownership as far as the job is concerned? Ownership, how do they deliver? How do they see things? Things like that. If not there, you could have the best process and still fail. And if people are of that level, obviously both the things go hand in hand. One cannot work without that. So we would still be very keen to understand from you, as a person, as an organization, how do you take things forward? Making someone do ISO or something like this thing, again, some mindset. ISO, I presume all factories should be ISO. Again, if you get into the detailing of ISO, they may not be ISO. I do understand a lot of companies over a period of time, again, they are shortcuts within the process. And when the ISO certification needs to be done, let's get all the papers together and put that sticker on the table. So they are a mixture of everything. So I would really say, as far as you or your organization is concerned, how do you approach? What are the most important areas that you feel that make a difference? A brief on that would be more informative to us.
That's what my next topic. I'm going to talk about it. You rightly said, Puneetji, people plays a very important role in an organization. That's why people, process, and technology, and we cannot miss out any of the aspects. You miss one, and the entire thing will be tumbled down. So the topic now, by looking at this organization, by having everything in place, what actually went wrong in this organization is that we are having an isolations, some silos in the organizations. Silos by virtue of, if you look at the organization, we define roles and responsibilities as per HR structure. Now, HR structure defines the authority, the level of people. They are more of like creating the silos, isolations in terms of departments, in terms of roles, designations. Now, HR roles and responsibilities are important. It cannot be bypassed. This is very much important because we need to define the delegation of authority. But the matter of fact is, the value that we create in an organization never flows from top to bottom. It flows cross-functional. That's where the challenges are coming up, because the people, when they are not aligned, or the people who are defining the policies or the procedures or the systems or the strategies, their own department, then the gap happens, then the difference happens. One of the challenges that the methodology like Lean Six Sigma has been observed many years is that there are some departments who identify certain projects in their own processes, implement Six Sigma successfully, but the overall end-to-end value to the customer is getting impacted because you have improved one process, you have just passed on, shifted your bottleneck into some other area. So that's how the organization looks like, a very complicated, though it sounds very simple, vision, this is our product, this is our strategy, but in reality, all these components, how do they work together? That's a complex part. So, for example, this is how, just an example I thought would be useful. The gap that happens in our organization, how do our sales define the market, how the strategy defined, how the process is actually documented for those strategies, how the strategy and the processes are documented and mapped. How do we actually communicate our data in an MIS report to the management, and we showcase our outcome during audits and compliances are completely different than what is actually required into the market. Some complete mismatch is happening. And that's why even the bill also said the organizations do not fail because of a lack of use cases. They fail because they have too many. And that is a basic fundamental concept of our business process management. So top 5 problems, I'm going to talk about it. The organization lost the opportunity because of not having the business process management in place, and they have everything in place. So first thing is that strategy and execution mismatch. So for example, I am launching a new product, let's say a face mask I'm launching. Now the face mask, when I'm launching into the market is already getting evolved and it is very faster. So the way I am planning to launch into the market and the way it is actually executing the market, is there any relationship in between it or not? Is my strategy is getting executed exactly in the same way or not? Do I have that clarity? Or my strategy is very simple. Let's start manufacturing the face mask. Unclear roles and responsibilities are the second challenge that we have seen in the organization. Irrespective of ISO or any other framework, the right roles and responsibilities are not defined. And you may have also experienced our JDs are defined as per our HR roles, whereas the role that I'm performing in my business is my process role. That role and the JD, the HR role, are completely different. So unclear roles, responsibilities. Many times I have seen even the in the medium-sized organization, the CEO has become a responsible for everything. That means everything comes to the CEO, and the person constantly asks about, am I responsible for this? Who is accountable for this? Why this problem has appeared in the first phase? Why it is coming in front of me? Why it is not even resolved at the first phase itself? We do a lot of data analysis. We are so much influenced with the data now that we are collecting data from almost every aspect of the organization, and we start creating it. The moment we collect the data, we are bound to create some kind of a story out of it. And then these stories are making it more complicated to my organization. Somewhere the technology investment, because of the change and now in the environment, so many technologies are coming up, and we are talking a lot about, let's do some automation, let's do some AI, ML, without even understanding, does it really qualifies for my organization at this moment of time? Is my problem sufficient enough to take care of the technology part? And finally, this is one aspect almost every organization miss, which is the business process architecture, which I'm going to talk about it. Because there is no framework, there is nothing worldwide any of the forum that talks about the process architecture, which is a basic fundamental for the organization. So we have seen these 5 major challenges within organizations who are even having such a sound, matured system in place, but are still struggling. So let me show you what we have done. So the very first thing we have done is that we have mapped this gap of strategy to execution. So this, the very first activity is a vision of an organization to become the number 2. We mapped with every strategy. What are the strategy organization is having? You will be surprised to see that they are the organization where BPM once started. They found many strategies which are not at all relevant to the vision. They are defined for some reasons, but are not applicable at all. Or some of the strategies that make sense are completely missed out. So this mapping with the vision to the strategy gives an absolute clarity about what is that vision, what is that strategy that is helping me to make that vision successful. Then we take that strategy and break down into the business objectives. And BPM talks about that your strategy can be measured if you have the right objectives in place. So define the right measurement system. And if any of my business objective fails, I know which strategy is going to fail and how it is impacting my vision. This is what we do in the boardroom with the leadership team. Now, let me take this example. This company would like to increase their efficiency by 30%. So taking to the next level, to the operations team, to the SMEs, to the function heads. So this is what in the boardroom, it is discussed, planned, handed over. Now the SMEs, the department head picks up from there and they identifies if this is a business objective my organization is responsible for. Who are the people responsible for this? Who is accountable? Who are responsible for it? What are the processes which are helping me to achieve this particular business objective, and how am I going to measure the process KPIs? So your business objective to process KPIs to processes, everything linked with the roles, responsibilities. Very crystal clear information about tomorrow if I'm going to change any of my business objective, which business process is going to change, who are the people who are required to make certain changes, how am I going to measure their performance, people performance, process performance, both. The process architecture I'm talking about it is very fundamental. Unfortunately, this is something which is missed in almost most of the organization, but it is not a time anymore. It talks about what are the values that I'm delivering to my customer? What are my commitments? So it divides the entire organization into 3 parts. What are my management processes? What are my core processes? What are my support processes? Core processes are also known as the work systems. So what are the things that I do in my organization? I do inquiry to order. I do order to shipment, shipment to payment. There are the impact of the risk. They are the impact of the capabilities. So I need to see my entire organization and see if I am going to, let's say, launch a new product, which is face mask. From inquiry to cash, what is the value chain? What are the different systems involved in this? Who are the people involved? What are the business objectives involved? What are the risks associated with this? What are the technology involved in this? What type of market segment I'm going to capture? All these things are the different components, and the only way you can stitch all these components is through process architecture. Let me take you this example. So assuming face mask for order to shipment is one of the core area for me as of now. I take this area and I sit down and discuss about what are the different process maps, what are the end-to-end process map required, which one is the first process step, which is the next process, what are the process and sub-processes, what is the relationship in between it. And then we pick up the critical process and define that critical process from top to bottom, where we define roles, responsibilities as part of our BPM, we define the KPIs, and for each activity in that process, take it to the next level and define roles, responsibilities, risk, input, output. So absolutely at the top of the organization where you have decided we need to launch a new product in the market, to the ground level, how it is going to get executed, who is responsible, what is expected from that person, what is the work instructions, everything is linked together. Any question on this? This is one of the important aspect of business process management, how you integrate everything in your organization from vision, strategy, business processes, people, process, technology all together. Okay. So next step is, now you know which particular business problem is critical to your organization and you have defined the process. This is what the next step is: evaluate that process. And then find out which particular process step requires improvement, which is a non-value added, which is an automation makes sense. It gives you a lot of informative decisions. A drawback that we have seen in many years in Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma, is that when you conduct a Lean Six Sigma initiative in your organization, the very first thing which comes into your mind is which project I need to select. So what do? We sit with the function heads. We identify the area. For example, this product cost is high, or the rework is high. We need to reduce it, or the defect should be reduced. We pick up the area, we assign it as a project, and the team start working on it. It may be possible the defect that you are working on is critical for that particular department, but may not be critical for the organization as a whole. Organization may have a much more serious concern. So by channelizing my entire effort onto a particular problem which is not very critical, will not give any value add to my organization in the longer run. So this approach helps you to pick up the process and find out which activity I'm picking, and if this activity I need to improve, how this process improvement will help me to improve my business objective, to my strategy, to my vision. And absolute clarity about your system of the organization. And that's what, as a CEO, as a leader, we need. You would like to know, if I'm going to invest on this activity for the automation, how much ROI I can expect on this. Do I really need to invest a new machine into this? So the BPM talks about problem of problems. That means sometimes we do not need to solve a problem. Just let's take an example. You travel by plane, and the airline works a lot in terms of ensuring that you get your baggage as soon as you reach to the airport. That means you landed, you get your baggage is not lost. And you will be surprised to know that airlines are investing a lot in terms of finding out how the bag loss, if it has happened, how soon we can gather that particular bag or the information about bag. But the matter of fact is, we don't need a loss of bag process. We don't need this problem. Forget about improvement of this problem. We don't need to solve this problem. This problem should not exist. So some business process management talks about that there are many processes in your organization which should not exist. The more we are re-engineering and optimizing is actually creating a more loss to your organization. So find out those processes and eliminate it. You don't need to improve it. So this entire concept of leadership expectations to function heads to the executors, this entire concept has been built into this workshop. What is to be expected from leader? What do they really need to know? How they can find out what is critical for the organization? Out of many problems, which problem I need to select, why, and how do I hand it over to the function heads? Function heads or the SMEs pick up that particular problem, build the entire system, see through the entire system, and hand it over to the executors so that they work on that particular problem, solve it, and I can see the entire improvement. So this is the program. One thing which is common across all the three is the understanding about business process management. Then a very specific, this is a complete workshop program. This is not a training program, it is a workshop. Organization largely do it within their own organization because they have a very specific problem. They would like to solve that problem. So they are invited. So we are invited where we have worked on. So in the leadership program, we talk about what matters most to the business. We discuss the different strategies. We discuss the different aspects, the data, everything. We zero down the most critical problems, top 3 problems for the organization. That's what the leaders do at the end of this workshop. And then it is handed over to the function heads to identify all artifacts, all components of this, value systems, responsibilities, people, processes. How do I define the right roles, responsibilities? How do I define the right risk management? What type of measurements I need to do? So they build the entire system, stitch it together, and then hand it over to the execution team who picks up those things, define the processes. Now, today, if you look at it, defining a process is completely based on an individual capability. How good I know about my organization or how good I am in English language, and I can write the process. But that's not the fact. We really, this is a very scientific approach. We really need to look into the process, there are the main aspects which we need to include when we define the process. So we have the various tools and templates. There is a modeling excellence framework which has been built up. That means when you are defining a process, you can be rest assured every aspect is included into the process. Once it is done, then this program also talks about how to re-engineer the process. In 2 days, this is what we cover. So that's the overall snapshot about what to expect from business process management. Irrespective of doing of so many things, why we are still having that challenge in my organization, what is the missing point, and with this workshop, how can I take my organization to the next level? So just to give you some sample work of ours. So business process management is a very well-defined methodology. So we have a step-by-step approach, what is to be done. There are the 7 enablers. That means 7 building blocks we must have in an organization. And architecture, I talked about it. Measurement, I talked about it. There are 5 more. Governance, change management, capability, mindset, and support. And with this workshop, you will also learn that if you miss out any one of it, you'll find out how it is going to impact your organization, and you can see those symptoms in the organization if it is missing. Then once the systems are in place, which business problem that we need to take care, which is a critical problem for me that I need to improve. I do not need to improve every problem. I do not need to work on every problem. So which problem is critical for me? So that's what POPI circle talks about, and we work into this. We also do the assessment as a part of the BPM so that you can evaluate what is the maturity level of the organization on various aspects. What is my current level and what is the level I need to achieve? And from red line to purple line are the points. So what are the steps I need to do? So action plan, we need to make it. Some samples about the Canvas, the business excellence model. So these are the things that we cover in our workshop. It's a complete case study based. We can do this workshop as a joint forum where all of you can join, can share a common problem, and we can discuss, we can run through this entire workshop, or it can be done within the organization specific to your organization specific problem. So this is about the introduction about the business process management as a program, what you can expect and what you can expect as a result for the organization. Any question, any thought? So what I covered in this session is 3 parts. Why it is essential for an organization in terms of an organization who has already implemented all the best practices. What are the challenges the organization has faced even after doing all the best practices? And the third one, how these gaps are filled by business process management to make it an absolute clarity about what we are doing and how it is performing. So these are the 3 topics I planned for our introduction session. Please feel free, let me know your questions. Please suggest your thoughts.
Amit, thanks. What you've spoken about, totally agree. They are very important today for the organization in every aspect. One can talk about clarity, and I think one of the important things is a person needing clarity how their organization is running. Organizations to be able to pinpoint which are the most important areas within the organization. Certainly, most of the things that you've spoken about I agree with. A lot of those processes within the organization, maybe depending on different members, are already there, but they need to be fine-tuned also from time to time. It's not that what I have and having a different eye from time to time, how to improve those areas becomes important. Personally, I'll say thank you to you. I'll speak to Mr. Kesar. Between the members, we will have a conversation on this issue. And certainly, we probably, different people can call you, members can call you and have a one-to-one meeting to take things forward or how they want to do. Or there may be a possibility also that we may want to do a certain session collectively to get more into detail of clarity, and then how to probably go through the process or at an individual level, depending on what is the size of the company and how much they are ready to invest.
Mr. Amit, I would add, you may please send the recording to OGTC. We'll circulate to the members who could not join it, so that the points Mr. Uppal has mentioned are known to everybody, and then we are talking on the same platform.
Okay. Thank you so much. It's an honor for me to meet all of you, and thank you, Mr. Uppal. Thank you, Mr. Kesan, for providing this opportunity. I'm always available for any question, any way I can add value to your business. That will be a great opportunity and honor for us. Please let us know. I will upload this recording and I'll share the details so that you can share with all other colleagues who have not participated.
Thank you, Mr. Amit, once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And good luck and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Amit, bye.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you.